My food contains glucose, the fuel that feeds the trillions of healthy cells in my body. But that glucose also feeds something else. Zombie cells. Old, damaged cells that have lingered beyond their useful life. By spewing toxic sludge, these zombies infect other healthy cells, speeding up the aging process. Everything from hair loss and wrinkles to the onset of arthritis, cancer, and dementia. But what scientists have realized is that when we fast and cut off the supply of glucose, that zombie army is starved of energy, which saps them of their power. When food is plentiful, our body stores excess energy in the form of fat, under the skin and around the internal organs. When food is scarce, that fat is sent to the liver, where it's turned into an alternative fuel source called a ketone. And it's these ketones which provide the emergency power source, not only for our bodies, but also our brains.
It's very preventable. It's just that we're doing everything we possibly can to induce it in our diet lifestyle. I was like everybody else. I thought cancer was a genetic disease. We published one of the first ever papers linking that the higher your blood sugar, the faster the tumor grows. The lower the blood sugar, the slower the tumor grows. Undeniable. From a normal cell to a cancer cell doesn't happen overnight. All we have to know with cancer is how are they growing so rapidly? Why are they going out of control? How come it's so hard to kill them? A solution to the cancer problem to manage cancer without toxicity is to simultaneously restrict the two fuels, glucose, which is already in our bloodstream from the food we eat, and the amino acid glutamine. If we stopped eating and we took a low carbohydrate diet and just did water-only fasting, we would get into nutritional ketosis. The tumor cells have a bad mitochondria. They're dependent on glucose and glutamine. We can replace glucose and glutamine with ketone bodies. So we selectively marginalize these tumor cells slowly over time. They slowly start to die, the blood vessels disappear, and the body comes in and dissolves them.
So really we need to be thinking about all the things that have caused dysfunction in the mitochondria.
Absolutely. If you can keep your mitochondria healthy.
How?
Vigorous exercise, water-only fasting, and reduce consumption of highly processed carbohydrates.
Almost. If you just want to be healthy, eat once a day. At the most, twice a day in a 6 to 8 hour window period. So that's called time-restricted feeding. So if you just want general maintenance, you want to lose a little bit of weight, you want to stay healthy, you don't want to become a diabetic, you don't want diseases of modern man, then start eating less frequently. Start learning how to eat once a day or twice a day in a 6 hour window period. So if you're going to have lunch at 1 o'clock, you should have dinner at 6 or 7 o'clock, and that's it. And no snacking in between, because every snack will increase your insulin levels and it breaks your fast and your ketogenesis as well. What happens is when you're fasting, your normal cells become more resilient. So when you give the chemo, only the weak guys die, which is the cancer cells. Because you've strengthened through this fasting process your normal cells.
0 to 12 after having your last meal, your insulin is still a little high. Remember, the higher the insulin is, the more resistant you are to insulin. You know, for longevity purposes, we want to be sensitive to insulin. The less insulin it takes to regulate our blood sugar, the longer our lifespan. Hours 12 to 18, this is when the fat burning begins, and the body is beginning to enter a state of ketosis. It's shifting from burning sugars to beginning to burn fats. Between 24 and 48 hours, this process of autophagy, the body turning on itself to become more efficient at waste elimination, repair, detoxification, and cellular division. You're literally cleaning your body out at a cellular level. Incredible increases in mental clarity, energy, alertness. Now between hours 48 and 54, human growth hormone surges at this point. And it does this to help us repair tissues. So inflammation is being reduced during the same period of time. So between hours 54 and 72, insulin is becoming more sensitive, and autophagy, this process of cellular turnover and regeneration, peaks. After 72 hours on a water fast, there's evidence that your own stem cells are starting to increase in number in blood circulation.
Guys, what's up? I just got done fasting for 86 hours. I feel like a superhero. I feel incredible. And I want to tell you how I did it. I love sharing this kind of stuff with you. So when I left the event on Saturday night, I started fasting. And here's a picture of me Saturday night when I left. I just got done this morning, so Saturday to Wednesday. And here are the pictures of me this morning. So I don't know if you've seen this online, but it's called the 7-day water fast. And this, doctors have done studies on this, and this thing is legit. It gives you an over 70% chance of not getting cancer, Alzheimer's, and other nasty diseases. And basically, you drink water for 72 hours. Gary likes that better than 7. He says it's safer. And I'm gonna walk you through what the protocol is in this video. So the first 24 hours, all you drink is water, but you can put electrolytes in your water. This is what I use. I'm sure you could use any electrolytes you want, but make sure that there's 0, 0, 0, 0 sugar, 0 carbs, 0 calories. This is all 0, and this stuff tastes really good. This is what I've been using for a while. So the first 24 hours, you drink water, and you can use that in your water. Then the next day, this is the cleanest broth that you can buy. This thing only has 45 calories, less than 1 gram of carbs, and it has like 13 grams of protein. So all it really has is protein and 45 calories. That is the cleanest broth out available. Chefs will tell you that. It's Gary Brecka approved. You can pick this up anywhere. You do this twice a day for the next 2 days. You drink all your water with electrolytes, but you can do the broth twice a day. Bone broth, the bone broth, twice a day for the next 2 days. You're gonna feel incredible. And obviously, you know, you're doing it for the internal, but externally, you get absolutely shredded on this thing.